My mother took my 7-year-old to have 4 baby teeth pulled by a friend who used to be a dentist. So at Thanksgiving, I asked him to tell the table where he practices now. I found out 3 days after it happened. My son Micah came home from a weekend at my mother's holding his jaw, and when I asked why, he opened his mouth and showed me 4 raw, empty sockets where his teeth used to be. Mom, they wobbled a lot after, he mumbled. What did you do to his mouth? She sounded almost proud. Those baby teeth were crowding. Roland took care of it. He used to be a dentist, you know. Saved you a fortune. Roland was her boyfriend of 8 months. I'd met him twice. He wore a lot of turquoise rings and talked about the industry like he missed it. Where did he do this? I asked. At his place. He has all the tools. It was very professional. I took Micah to our actual pediatric dentist the next morning. She looked in his mouth, went quiet, and stepped out to get a colleague. When she came back, her voice had changed. 2 of the 4 teeth pulled had permanent teeth developing directly beneath them, and whoever did this had nicked the buds. She asked me who performed the extraction and what their credentials were. I said I was still figuring that out. She said, whoever it was, they had no idea what they were looking at. Please don't let them near his mouth again. So I started figuring it out. Roland's last name took 10 minutes to get from my mother, who assumed I was warming up to him. I searched the state dental board. Nothing. I searched neighboring states. Nothing. I searched his name with the word dentist and found a single result. An 11-year-old news item from a paper 2 states over. A man by that name, a dental assistant, pled guilty to practicing dentistry without a license out of a converted garage. Patients had come forward with infections. He'd served 14 months. He'd never been a dentist. He'd been the guy who handed a real one the instruments, until he decided he didn't need the real one. I didn't call my mother back. I let her keep thinking I was coming around. When she invited us to Thanksgiving and said Roland would be carving the turkey, I said we'd love to come. The table was full. My mother's sisters, my cousins, Roland at the head with his sleeves rolled up and a bottle of wine already open. Micah sat next to me, quiet, still not eating on his right side. My mother kept beaming at me like we'd finally reached an understanding. Halfway through the meal, when the room was warm and loud, I set down my fork. Roland, I said loud enough to cut through. Mom tells everyone you used to be a dentist. I'd love for the table to hear about your practice. Where do you practice now? He smiled and started to say something about being retired. No, I mean specifically, I said. Which state issued your license? Because I checked all of them. The table quieted. My mother's smile stayed frozen in place. I'm asking, I said, because you pulled 4 teeth out of my 7-year-old's mouth in your kitchen, and I have his dentist report right here saying you damaged the permanent teeth underneath. I laid the folded paper on the table, so I looked you up, and the only record of you doing dentistry anywhere is this. I set the printout of the news article down next to it and turned it so my aunt could read the headline. 14 months, I said, for doing exactly what you did to my son, in a garage, to other people's kids. Roland's face went gray. He looked at my mother. My mother looked at the article, then at Micah's mouth, then at the article again, and I watched the pride drain out of her in real time. You told me he was a dentist, my aunt said slowly, staring at my mother. He said, my mother started. He handed dentists their tools, I said, until he got caught pretending to be one. And you handed him my child. Roland stood up. He didn't say a word. He walked to the door, took his coat, and left the turkey he'd carved sitting in the middle of my mother's table. My mother turned to me, her mouth opening to explain, to soften it, to make it hers again. I picked up my phone and set it face up on the table so everyone could see the number already dialed. His parole officer's still listed in the article, I said. Want to tell them where he practices now, or should I?